Hey everyone, welcome back. This time you've really sent us some fascinating stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
at the intersection of like finance and tech and these global trends, it's like
Yeah,
we've got a puzzle to put together here.
absolutely.
So, we've got articles, we've got research reports. You even sent us a podcast episode called Blockchain DXB.
Interesting.
And just, skimming the titles, we've got a crypto roller coaster. We've got Elon Musk making more bold AI claims.
Right. Never a dull moment with him.
And then we've got Hong Kong shaking things up. I mean, come on.
Yeah, lots to unpack.
So let's just jump right in.
Let's do it.
Okay, so Blockchain DXB, this podcast episode you sent us, paints a pretty stark picture of the crypto market right now. Things are not looking so hot.
Yeah, I was just looking at that too.
Bitcoin is down,
hmm
and they really emphasize stablecoin volume as this key indicator.
It's a big one.
I'm fascinated by market psychology.
Yeah.
Is this a canary in the coal mine situation?
Well, stablecoin volume, it's more than just a number.
Right.
It's like a window into market sentiment.
Okay.
Remember back in 2021 when that whole Terra Luna stablecoin collapsed?
Yeah,
That sent shockwaves through the entire crypto world.
absolutely.
And when investors get spooked, they flock to stablecoins.
Gotcha.
It's like their digital life raft.
Makes sense.
So it's a classic flight to safety, just like in traditional markets. You see people going to gold or government bonds when things get dicey.
Right. It's that whole like batten down the hatches, grab something steady while everything else is going haywire.
Exactly.
But blockchain DXB, they go even further.
Oh, yeah.
They suggest that if stablecoin volume doesn't pick up soon, we could see Bitcoin's market cap drop below 1.75 trillion,
Wow.
and Ethereum could fall below 300 billion.
That's a big drop.
Yeah, and those aren't just numbers on a screen.
Right.
Those represent real value, real confidence, or the lack thereof.
Absolutely. For someone like you who's not just watching from the sidelines, but actively engaged in the space, it's a signal to pay close attention.
Totally.
Is this a temporary dip? Are we seeing something more fundamental? Are the big players, the whales, moving their money into stable coins, just waiting for the storm to pass?
Right, right. Some really thought-provoking questions.
Yeah, definitely worth considering.
Okay, so we've got this shaky crypto landscape, and then blockchain DXB just drops this bombshell. Hong Kong is launching their own stablecoin,
Oh, wow.
pegged to the Hong Kong dollar.
Interesting.
So they're not content with just being this financial hub. They're stepping onto the global stage, taking on the U.S. dollar-backed giants like Tether and USD Coin.
Bold move.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
Well, Hong Kong has always had this unique monetary system, but
Right.
this signals a deeper ambition. I think they want to be the digital asset hub, and this stablecoin play, it's a power move.
Interesting.
Remember how the BRICS nations have been pushing for alternatives to the U.S. dollar in international trade?
Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa?
Yeah, exactly. Hong Kong just jumped into the ring.
So it's not just about a new stablecoin. It's about shifting the balance of power, maybe even chipping away at that U.S. dollar dominance.
It could be.
But how realistic is that? Are we really on the verge of this global currency shakeup?
Well, it's a question worth pondering, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine a world where multiple currencies are vying for dominance.
Okay.
It could lead to more financial diversification, hedging against any single currency's risks, but it also brings complexity and potentially more volatility.
Right. More things to keep track of.
Definitely a development you want to watch closely, especially given your interest in global financial trends.
Oh, absolutely. This one's going on the watch list.
For sure.
Now let's pivot to a topic that always seems to be making headlines.
Which one is that?
AI blockchain DXB dives into Elon Musk's XAI unveiling their latest creation,
Grok 3.
Grok 3.
Grok free.
And of course, the claim is that it's the smartest AI on Earth.
Oh, of course it is.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like every other week there's a new groundbreaking AI.
It's the AI hype cycle.
Yeah, so why should we care about this one?
Well, it's easy to become numb to the hype, but Grok 3 does have some features that set it apart.
Okay.
They're boasting about advanced reasoning capabilities that go beyond just pattern recognition.
So it's thinking, not just matching.
Yeah, and it's directly integrated with Twitter, now known as X, for real-time data ingestion.
Hold on, so it's not just analyzing static data sets, it's learning from the fire hose of information that is Twitter.
Exactly.
Constantly evolving, adapting.
It's a game changer. Think about the potential real-time market analysis, sentiment, tracking, even anticipating social movements before they gain traction.
Wow, it's like having a finger on the pulse of the world's collective consciousness.
That's a good way to put it.
But-
There's always a but, isn't there?
Right, the episode mentions that initially Grok 3 will only be accessible to Premium X subscribers.
Oh, so a paywall.
And there's even talk of a future Super Grok tier.
A super tier? Wow.
Makes you wonder, are we heading towards an AI divide, where access to these powerful tools is determined by your subscription level.
Yeah, that's a question that goes beyond just technology and into ethics and equity.
Right, right. Will AI advancements exacerbate existing inequalities, or will there be a push to democratize access and ensure these benefits reach everyone?
It's a bit of a double-edged sword, right? On one hand, this incredible potential, on the other, the potential for further division and exclusion.
Definitely something to keep an eye on.
Now, this next story from Blockchain DSB feels like it came out of left field.
Oh!
Tether, the company behind the largest stablecoin, decides to buy a minority stake in Juventus,
Juventus.
the legendary Italian football club.
Wow, that seems like a strange play for a company seemingly focused on digital currency.
Right. What's going on there?
Well, at first glance, it does seem like an odd pairing.
It does.
But if you look at Tether's moves over the past year, a pattern emerges.
Okay.
They've been strategically diversifying their portfolio, investing in AI, Bitcoin mining, even biotech. This Juventus stake is just the latest piece of the puzzle. So they're not putting all their eggs in one basket, spreading their bets, hedging against the volatility of the crypto market.
Precisely. And it speaks to a broader trend we're seeing with digital asset companies. They're looking beyond the purely digital realm, seeking real-world integration legitimacy and new avenues for growth.
Okay, I see the bigger picture, but zooming back in on this specific move, what's the potential here? Are we going to see Juventus fans paying for tickets with Tether? Are they going to launch an NFT collection of digital jerseys?
The possibilities are intriguing.
Right.
Think about the potential for innovative payment solutions within the stadium fan engagement initiatives, using NFTs, maybe even AI-driven player analytics and scouting, using Tether's other investments.
Wow.
This could be a fascinating case study in the convergence of sports and digital assets.
Definitely a story to follow.
Yeah, for sure.
Now let's shift gear to the world of NFTs. Blockchain DXB reports that OpenSea, one of the biggest NFT marketplaces, is launching their own token.
Another token.
Called C.
C.
I know you follow the NFT space closely, so what's the significance of this move? Is it just another token, or is there something more going on here?
This is more than just a token launch. It's a strategic shift. OpenSea is aiming to cultivate a more engaged and loyal community within their platform.
Okay.
Think of the SC token as a reward system for active users,
Gotcha.
incentivizing participation and giving them a stake in the platform's success.
The episode even suggests that listeners should check their OpenSea accounts just in case they qualified for some of these C tokens.
Oh, nice.
Sounds like there's potential for some early adopters to reap the rewards of their loyalty.
Yeah, could be.
Smart move on OpenSea's part.
Definitely.
They're recognizing that building a thriving community is essential for long-term success in the NFT space. It's no longer enough to just be a marketplace. You need to create an ecosystem where users feel valued and invested.
It's all about community.
It's interesting how the lines between different sectors are blurring.
Yeah, how so?
Well, we've got a stablecoin issuer investing in a football club, and now an NFT marketplace launching its own token to build community, almost like a social media platform.
It's a fascinating evolution, and it underscores how interconnected these trends are. What we're seeing is a convergence of ideas and strategies from different domains, driven by the underlying power of blockchain technology.
So it's bigger than just any one of these things.
Absolutely.
All right, let's switch gears one more time and head over to the Middle East,
Okay.
where Blockchain DXB highlights a fascinating development in AI governance.
Interesting.
The Mohammed bin Rashid School of Government in Dubai is teaming up with the UNDP to advance AI governance in the region.
Okay.
So why should we care about this?
Well, this partnership is significant for several reasons.
Right.
First, it highlights the growing global recognition that AI development needs ethical guardrails. Second, it positions Dubai as a potential leader in shaping responsible AI innovation.
Right.
And third, it raises some intriguing questions about the future of technology on a global scale.
So it's not just about Dubai. It's about setting a precedent for how we develop and deploy AI responsibly, ensuring it benefits society as a whole.
Exactly. And remember, Dubai is strategically positioned as a global hub connecting East and West. Their approach to AI governance could have ripple effects far beyond their borders.
It's like they're building a model that other nations might follow, setting the stage for a more ethical and equitable AI landscape.
It's a possibility.
Definitely a development to watch.
Absolutely.
Now, another company caught my eye in Blockchain DXB, Zebo.
Zebo.
They're launching AI-powered customer service solutions in Saudi Arabia, a country that's been rapidly adopting AI across various sectors. What makes Zebo stand out in this crowded field?
Well,
Because everyone's doing AI now, right?
it seems that way.
What makes them different?
Well, from what I gather, Zebo seems to be hyper-focused on understanding the nuances of the Saudi market.
Okay.
They're incorporating sentiment analysis that can understand Arabic dialects, which is crucial for effective customer service in the region.
right? Because most AI solutions are trained on Western data sets, which can lead to misinterpretations and cultural blunders. So
Exactly.
they're addressing that gap by tailoring their solutions to the specific linguistic and cultural context of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it's not just about translating words. It's about understanding the subtle cues and cultural nuances that shapes communication,
Right?
and in a customer service setting that can make all the difference.
It really can,
So Zebo's approach could be a game changer for businesses operating in the Middle East,
right?
and if they're successful, it could signal a broader trend of AI adoption in the region, specifically in those customer-facing roles where cultural sensitivity is paramount.
This raises a bigger question, though, doesn't it? If AI is increasingly taking over customer service roles, what does that mean for the future of work? Particularly in a region like the Middle East that's undergoing rapid economic and technological transformation.
It's a question that deserves its own deep
It
dive.
really does.
But for now, let's just acknowledge that we're witnessing a profound shift in how businesses interact with their customers, and AI is playing a central role in that transformation.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack. I'm already feeling like I'm getting a crash course in the future of everything.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a moment to absorb all this information. All right, so let's dive back into this whirlwind of insights. Before we pause, we were talking about AI's potential impact on customer service, especially in a region like Saudi Arabia that's undergoing such rapid change. It feels like a glimpse into a future where technology is reshaping the way we interact with businesses and maybe even with each other.
Yeah, it's a fascinating dynamic to observe. On the one hand, AI has the potential to streamline interactions, make them more efficient, even anticipate our needs before we articulate them. But there's also the risk of losing that human touch, that sense of empathy and connection that can make or break a customer experience.
It's a delicate balance, isn't it? Striking that right chord between efficiency and genuine human interaction. It reminds me of that classic scene in 2001, A Space Odyssey, where the AI HAL 9000 turns against the crew. It's a bit of a cliche, but it taps into those deep-seated anxieties about technology outsmarting us becoming too powerful.
Yeah, that scene definitely captures the essence of our AI fears, even if the reality is likely to be far more nuanced. The key, as you pointed out, is balance. AI should be a tool to augment human capabilities, not replace them entirely.
Right, it's about working alongside these advanced systems, leveraging their strengths while preserving the qualities that make us uniquely human. Now let's circle back to the crypto world. Blockchain DXB dives into some metrics that can feel a bit like deciphering hieroglyphics, stablecoin volume, decentralized exchange dominance. I know these aren't just random numbers, but can you break it down for us? What's the big picture here?
Well, these metrics are like vital signs for the crypto ecosystem. Stablecoin volume, as we discussed earlier, is a barometer of market sentiment. But decentralized exchange dominance, that's about control. It tells us how much trading activity is happening on platforms that are truly decentralized, where users have direct control over their assets as opposed to centralized exchanges that act as intermediaries.
So it's not just about the price of Bitcoin or Ethereum, it's about the underlying infrastructure, the shift towards greater user autonomy and control, which is at the heart of the whole blockchain philosophy, right?
Precisely. A higher DX dominance suggests a move towards that decentralized ideal, a world where individuals are empowered, not beholden to centralized institutions.
Okay, I'm starting to connect the dots. It's not just about making money, it's about redefining the rules of the game, shifting the balance of power. But blockchain DXB also throws out some rather unsettling numbers. They talk about Bitcoin's market cap potentially dropping below 1.75 trillion, Ethereum dipping below 300 billion. What do these numbers really mean for someone who's just dipping their toes into the crypto waters?
Well, those numbers underscore the inherent volatility of this space. It's a roller coaster ride with the potential for dizzying highs and stomach-churning drops. The key is to go in with eyes wide open, understanding the risks, and not betting more than you can afford to lose.
So it's not for the faint of heart, but for those who are willing to ride the waves, there's the potential for significant rewards. Now let's talk about Grok 3 again. Blockchain DXB really emphasizes its potential to disrupt various industries, particularly its ability to analyze real-time data from Twitter and make predictions about market trends, social movements, even political outcomes. Isn't this getting into a bit of a sci-fi danger zone?
AI's predictive capabilities are advancing at an astonishing pace, and it's natural to feel a sense of unease. But remember, even the most sophisticated AI is still a tool, and its impact depends on how it's wielded. Grok 3 can process vast amounts of data and identify patterns that humans might miss, but it's not a crystal ball that can predict the future with absolute certainty.
Right, it's more about probabilities and potential outcomes than definitive predictions. It's like having a superpowered research assistant that can crunch numbers and spot trends, But ultimately, it's up to humans to interpret those insights and make decisions based on our values and judgment.
Exactly. We shouldn't fear the technology itself, but rather the potential for misuse. And that's where ethical considerations and responsible development become paramount.
Speaking of responsible development, Blockchain DXB highlights another fascinating aspect of Grok 3, its potential to improve smart contract auditing. This might seem like a niche topic, but for anyone who's been following the blockchain space, they know how crucial smart contracts are. Can you explain why auditing these contracts is so important?
Well, think of smart contracts as the digital building blocks of the decentralized world. They automate agreements, execute transactions, and form the backbone of countless blockchain applications. But just like any software, they can be vulnerable to bugs, errors, and even malicious exploits.
So it's like having a safety inspector come in and make sure the building is structurally sound before anyone moves in.
That's a great analogy. Auditing smart contracts is all about identifying vulnerabilities and mitigating risks before they can be exploited. And that's where AI, like Grok 3, comes in. Its ability to analyze code at scale, identify potential flaws, and even suggest solutions could revolutionize the way we build and secure decentralized applications.
Okay, so we're not just talking about preventing financial losses. We're talking about building trust and confidence in the entire blockchain ecosystem.
Now, let's shift gears again and revisit Tether's surprising move into the sports world with their investment in Juventus. We talked about it being part of a larger trend of digital asset companies seeking real-world integration. But what's the end game here? Why is this integration so important?
Well, for digital assets to truly go mainstream, they need to move beyond the realm of speculation and become integrated into our everyday lives. Think about it, the internet wasn't truly revolutionary until it went from being a niche technology for academics and tech enthusiasts to something that everyone could use to shop, communicate, and access information. So it's about making cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology more relatable, more accessible to the average person who might not understand the technical intricacies, but can see the value is using it to buy a Juventus jersey or attend a match.
Exactly. And partnerships like this with established institutions like Juventus can play a crucial role in bridging that gap. It's about demystifying the technology and showcasing its potential to enhance our lives in tangible ways.
It's like those early days of e-commerce when people were hesitant to put their credit card information online. But once they saw the convenience and benefits, the fear subsided and online shopping became commonplace.
That's a great parallel. We're at a similar stage with digital assets. As more companies experiment with real-world applications and demonstrate the value proposition, we'll see that same shift in perception and adoption.
It's fascinating to think about how something that started as a purely digital concept is now making its way into the physical world, into our stadiums, our retail stores, even our healthcare systems.
The lines are definitely blurring, and that's where the real excitement lies. It's no longer about digital versus physical. It's about finding those points of convergence where technology can enhance and augment our experiences in both realms.
Now let's talk about OpenSea's new SE token. You mentioned it being a way to cultivate a more enthused and loyal community within their NFT marketplace. But how does this fit into the broader evolution of the NFT landscape? Are we seeing a shift towards more community-driven models where users have a greater voice and stake in the platforms they use?
Absolutely. The introduction of the SE token is a prime example of how NFT platforms are evolving beyond simple marketplaces for buying and selling digital assets. They're becoming ecosystems with their own internal economies, governance mechanisms, and ways to foster a sense of belonging.
So it's not just about owning a piece of digital art anymore. It's about being part of a community, contributing to its growth, and benefiting from its success.
Precisely. And tokens like HESC play a crucial role in that evolution. They give users a voice in the platform's governance, incentivize participation, and align incentives between the platform and its users.
It's interesting how this model seems to be borrowing the playbook of social media platforms, which have long used engagement metrics, rewards, and even virtual currencies to keep users hooked.
You're right, there's definitely a convergence of strategies happening. And that's not surprising at the end of the day. It's all about building engaged communities, whether it's around social interactions, digital art, or even financial transactions.
It seems like the lines between these different technological domains are becoming increasingly blurred, leading to this cross-pollination of ideas and strategies that's driving innovation at a breakneck pace.
It's an exciting time to be witnessing this convergence. And the beauty of it is that it's still early days. We're just scratching the surface of what's possible when we combine the power of blockchain technology with the creativity and ingenuity of human communities.
Okay, let's bring it back to the topic of AI governance and the developments we discussed in Dubai. We talked about the importance of ethical frameworks and regulations to ensure that AI is developed and deployed responsibly. But what are some concrete examples of how these governance mechanisms could shape the future of technology?
AI governance encompasses a wide range of considerations, from data privacy and algorithmic transparency to bias mitigation and accountability. For example, regulations could mandate that AI systems used in hiring decisions be audited for bias, ensuring fairness and equal opportunity.
So it's about setting clear boundaries and guardrails to prevent unintended consequences and ensure that AI is used to empower individuals, not discriminate against them.
Exactly. And regulations could also require companies to be transparent about how their AI systems make decisions. This would foster trust and accountability, allowing individuals to understand how AI is impacting their lives and hold developers responsible for any negative outcomes.
It's like having a right to know when it comes to AI, similar to how we have consumer protection laws that require companies to disclose information about the products and services they offer.
That's a great way to think about it. It's about empowering individuals with knowledge and control over how AI is being used in their lives.
Dubai's partnership with the UNDP suggests that there's a growing global effort to establish these ethical frameworks. But are there any potential downsides to regulation? Could it stifle innovation or create unnecessary barriers to entry for startups and smaller companies?
That's a valid concern. It's crucial to find the right balance between fostering innovation and protecting the public interest. Overly burdensome regulations could indeed stifle creativity and slow down the pace of progress. But on the other hand, a complete lack of regulation could lead to unintended consequences, ethical breaches, and a loss of public trust in AI.
So it's about finding that sweet spot, that Goldilocks zone, where regulations encourage responsible development without stifling creativity and progress.
Precisely, and that requires collaboration between policymakers, technologists, ethicists, and society as a whole. It's an ongoing conversation, and it's one that we need to have openly and transparently.
Now let's bring it back to Zebo and their AI-powered customer service solutions in Saudi Arabia. We talked about their focus on sentiment analysis and understanding Arabic dialects, which are key differentiators in that market. But what are some other ways that AI is transforming the customer experience across industries?
Well, AI-powered chatbots are becoming increasingly sophisticated, capable of handling a wide range of customer inquiries and providing personalized recommendations. They can answer questions about products, process orders, even troubleshoot technical issues, all without human intervention.
So it's about making customer service more efficient and convenient, available 24/7 and tailored to each individual's needs.
Exactly. But the AI's potential goes beyond just chatbots. It can be used to analyze vast amounts of customer data, identifying patterns and trends that can help businesses anticipate needs, personalize offers, and even predict churn before it happens.
So it's not just about reacting to customer inquiries, it's about proactively engaging with customers, anticipating their needs, and building relationships that are based on trust and value.
Precisely, AI can help businesses create those wow moments that turn customers into loyal advocates.
But let's be honest, sometimes you just want to talk to a real person, someone who can understand your frustrations and provide that human touch that AI, at least in its current form, can't quite replicate.
Absolutely. The key is to find the right balance between automation and human interaction. Companies need to figure out how to seamlessly integrate AI into their customer service operations without sacrificing empathy and genuine connection.
It's like finding that perfect blend of efficiency and heart. You want the convenience and speed of AI, but you also want the reassurance of knowing that there's a human being on the other end who cares about your experience.
It's a complex equation, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution, but the companies that get this right, the ones that find that perfect balance, will be the ones that thrive in this increasingly AI-driven world.
It's a fascinating and challenging landscape we're navigating here. But before we get too lost in the weeds, let's take a step back and reflect on the bigger picture. What are some of the key takeaways from all these interconnected trends, and what do they mean for us as individuals, as businesses, as a global society? Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. It's like we've been on this whirlwind tour of the future, from like the ups and downs of the crypto market
Right.
to the ethical dilemmas of AI, and those surprising moves by companies like Tether and OpenSea.
It's been a wild ride.
It really has.
And what's striking is how interconnected these trends are. They're not happening in isolation.
Right.
They're weaving together this new tapestry, a future where digital assets, artificial intelligence, geopolitical shifts are all part of the same story.
It's all connected.
It is.
You know, thinking back to that podcast episode, Blockchain DXB, one of the things that really stuck with me was that discussion about The potential for a multipolar currency system.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like a quiet revolution brewing beneath the surface.
It is. The dominance of the US dollar has shaped the global financial system for decades, but the cracks are starting to show.
Yeah.
Countries are seeking alternatives, whether it's for greater autonomy, hedging against risk, or simply to have a seat at the table in a changing world.
Right, so it's like the tectonic plates of global finance are shifting. And Hong Kong's bold move to launch its own stablecoin just throws another variable into the mix.
Adds to the complexity.
It does, but for someone like me who's still trying to wrap my head around all this, it can feel a bit overwhelming.
I understand.
What are some key things to watch for as this unfolds?
Well, keep an eye on the development and adoption of central bank digital currencies, CBCs.
Okay.
These are digital versions of national currencies issued by central banks, and they have the potential to really reshape the financial landscape.
So government-backed digital currencies.
Exactly. Also pay attention to the rise of regional trading blocks and the increasing use of alternative payment systems outside of the traditional SWIFT network.
So it's not just about which currency will reign supreme, it's about how these different systems will coexist, compete, maybe even collaborate.
Right. It's a whole new level of complexity,
Yeah,
but also a whole new world of possibilities.
I like that.
It's what makes this so fascinating. We're not
Okay.
just observing these trends, we're living through them.
We are.
And the choices we make both individually and collectively will shape the future of this interconnected world.
Absolutely. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what's a final thought-provoking question or idea that we can leave our listeners with? Something that will keep them thinking about these trends and their implications.
Well, we've seen how the boundaries between finance technology and global power are blurring.
We have?
But what about the human element?
Oh,
How will these trends impact the way we work, the way we interact with each other, even the way we define ourselves in this increasingly complex and interconnected world?
it's not just about the technology.
It's not.
It's about how we use it to shape the future we want to see.
Exactly.
And that future is being written right now with every decision we make, every investment we consider, every conversation we have.
Well said. So, as you continue your own deep dive into these fascinating topics, remember that you're not just an observer.
Right?
You're an active participant in shaping the future.
That's a great point to end on. I really appreciate you taking this deep dive with me.
My pleasure.
And thanks to all of you for listening to this episode of The Deep Dive. We hope this has given you some valuable insights and sparked your curiosity to explore further.
Keep learning.
Remember, the world is changing rapidly, but the most important skill you can cultivate is the ability to adapt, learn, and embrace the unknown. Until next time, keep exploring, keep challenging assumptions, and keep diving deep.